Hello, Mark and everybody. Are you ready?
Yes, sir, Coach. Go ahead.
Thank you. First, let me say that National Signing Day is a special day for so many young people across the country, and I want to congratulate everybody. It's a dream to get to go to the university of your choice and have somebody pay for it. So congratulations to all you young people today that are signing. I wish clarity on you that couldn't get a decision made today, and we'll have that opportunity over the next couple of days, or maybe you wait till February. And for you that didn't get what you want, just keep working, because it changes and people see things differently, and just continue to have hope and continue to make your grades and work really hard to do the things you need to do, and maybe that opportunity will come up for you. And even if you didn't get to go where you want to, there's always avenues, whether it's walk-on or junior college, if you don't get your choice right now. But don't give up. Just keep working. Really, really excited about this class. I know it sounds like coach speak. Everybody better be excited about their class when they come in and say, man, I'm excited about these new guys. But this is possibly the best recruiting class in our school's history. It's a tremendous class, and it's currently ranked 8th in the country. Today, the individual ranking, which is more important than the overall ranking right now because we only have 17 members signed, is 91.70, which ranks 6th in the country as far as the productivity of each player. So I'm really, really excited about these guys. 8 of these guys will be coming in early. At one point we thought it'd be 9, but Deuce Caldwell's decided to wait till June. So we'll go over the other 8. And not only is it one of the best athletic classes in the country, it's one of the best academic classes in the country. And I don't think I've ever seen this before, but every player that we signed is team captain. So we're needing leadership. We want that academic confidence. And all of those things are in here. And obviously they're great athletes or we wouldn't have signed them. 8 on offense and 9 on defense. So we had a very good balance again in our signing classes. The last couple of classes have been smaller than some of our early classes, and that's because a lot of you guys stay, and even with the extra COVID year for many, it makes it more difficult and strange a little bit for roster management, so we have to continue to look at that. 14 of the 17 signees are within our footprint. We didn't sign as many from North Carolina this year. We signed 7 from Virginia. But from basically D.C. to Atlanta is where we're going to get the large majority of our class. And then we went outside for Sebastian Cheeks in Illinois and Connor Harrell in Alabama and Justin Kanyuk in Pennsylvania. So there were 3 guys outside of our footprint. And usually those are guys with tremendous grades where you can go get people who have tremendous athletic ability but also outstanding grades, and they want to be part of the university. There's 5 Under Armour All-Americans. There's 2 All-American Bowl participants, 3 State Gatorade Players of the Year, and 15 of the players earned All-State. And as we said, all are team captains, which I've never had that before. And we always want to look at that, and it's always important to us, but this time's the first time I've ever really seen it come through. So very excited about that. What I thought we would do is I'll talk about each player. We'll actually go through and watch video, and then I'll answer your questions at the end. The first one we'll talk about is Marcus Allen. He's a defensive back from Marietta, Georgia. He's at Walston High School. He took his team to the semifinals. He's a 2-way player. He'll play defensive back for us. He'll play corner. He's a 3-time All-State performer. He served as the youth chair for Cobb County Commissioner Jerica Richards. He's a member of their leadership council, and his father Derek was actually a captain of the West Point basketball team. So what we're going to do is talk about them, and then we'll watch them, and then we'll come back and talk about them afterwards. So you see Marcus is 6'2", 175 pounds. He's got length, and that's something we really like. See him at corner down the right side? He's really tall. He catches the ball well. In modern day defense, you're always looking for guys who can force turnovers. He could play receiver. He's got great speed. His brother is a corner at Georgia Tech. But we really like his height and his long arm. And a lot of the guys we're looking at today are two-way players. We've always said the more places you can play, the better chance you have to be successful. Because if it doesn't work out for one position, you got a chance to play others. He's a good tackler in space. Coaches really like him. Secondly, Bo Atkinson. Bo is an outside linebacker. He's 6'6", 240. He's at Leesville Rhodes High School. They were 13-1. He was a two-time captain. He's an early enrollee, two-time All-State, two-time Conference Defensive Player of the Year. He's in the Carolina Shrine game. He had 22 sacks, 53.5 tackles for a loss during his career. He's a 4-year AB Honor Roll student. He also played lacrosse and was really good at it. His mom, Erica, was a volleyball player at Connecticut, and his dad, Chris, was a football player at Connecticut. Once again, he's 6'6", 240, so we like his length. He's very, very aggressive. We're working really, really hard. We've got to get more tackles for loss. We've got to get more pressure on the quarterback, and a big guy like this that can run can do that. We always talk to opposing high school coaches, and all the high school coaches talked about how aggressive he was, how quick he is, and how he can dominate the line of scrimmage. He's right at a 4-point student, but just absolutely dominated in high school. Third one here is Deuce Caldwell. Deuce is 6'1", 215 pounds. Again, he's right at a 4-point student. He is from Malden High School. He was an all-state selection. He's been invited to the North-South game and the Shrine Bowl. He's one of the top 10 players in South Carolina and was also an outstanding basketball player. He has decided not to come in early. He'll come in June. He's a very aggressive downhill player. We're looking for confident guys that can play in space but will come downhill and hit you. And he's a very good tackler in space. You can see they used to say he gets there fast and he's mad when he gets there. Also played offense, but he was an outstanding basketball player. He can play inside or outside backer. And to play linebacker modern day football, you're going to have to tackle in space. Now you've got Tyshawn Chapman. His nickname's Doc. He's 5'10", 175 pounds. He's from Virginia Beach. He was at Princess Anne, and he transferred to Lansdowne. He's Under Armour All-American, two-time captain, two-time All-Tidewater. He's a standout in track. He's got a 7.02 time in the 60 meters and a 6.42 time in the 55 meters, so he can fly. And he didn't get to play this year because he had a knee injury early. He's rehabbed, and he'll be ready to go when he gets in here in June. He'll be a slot receiver for us. He has tremendous speed. He's played slot, but he's also played running back, and you can see he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He can catch, but he's so good after contact, after he catches the ball in space. Played some running back. But he's got a chance to score every time he touches it. And obviously, he'll be playing in the Josh Downs position. Got Sebastian Cheeks. It was one of the guys that Tommy Thigpen looked at all the national players at linebacker, and he saw Sebastian, and he went after him. He will be coming in January. He's 6'3", 220. He was a track star. He played running back. He played linebacker. Very excited about this young man. His dad was a wrestler at Illinois, and a very good one. And you can see again, he's big, he's strong. We've been a little undersized some at linebacker. He's powerful, he's quick. He was also a track star. He's right at a 4.0. He has already been pre-admitted to our business school. He could have gone anywhere in the country like most of these young people, but he just fell in love with Chapel Hill when he got here. This is him at running back. You can see he could play about anywhere. And he'll be here in 3 or 4 weeks. I think they come in June the 8th. He loves the business school, and he and Coach Thigpen have a great relationship. And it's good that we're getting to a point where we're known enough nationally we can go to Chicago and get a great player. Next young man is Travion Green. He's 6'7", 345. He will be coming in early. He is also a captain of his team, as we said. He made All-State, 2-time All-Metro performer. He's a member of the National Honor Society, AB Honor Roll. Story's really interesting. He came to our camp 2 years ago from Life Christian High School, and he was 400 pounds, maybe 408 pounds. And he still moved well, but we told him, you got to get down. We can't take you at that weight. He dropped to about 340, 345. He's kept his weight. He's a tremendous young man. He is an early enrollee, so he'll be here in a couple of weeks. You can see here how easily he dunks the basketball to start with. At 6'8", 345. We can see him here. He can play tackle or guard. He's got a lot of power. He can run. See him here at left tackle. So it'll be fun to watch him in spring practice. We'll be losing some offensive linemen, some this year, but probably the rest of them next year. Could lose up to 3 this year. So we have to replace some of these guys with outstanding young people. Andre Green, one of the top receivers in the country. He will not be coming in early. Andre's team was 10-2. He's an Under Armour All-American, 2-time team captain. He was the league's most valuable player. He's also an outstanding basketball player and a really high-quality member of their track team. He's got speed. He's got length, and some of these catches are just phenomenal. Obviously, this game's gotten to a point where you have to win the outside balls, and he's a guy that can go up and get it, and then he can run off and leave you afterwards. At 6'3", 185, he's got tremendous length. But he's got the quickness to run off, outrun people underneath, and score. He's a young man. His mom went to North Carolina Central. He's loved North Carolina since the beginning. I mean, we always say put two hands on the ball. We may not have to tell Andre that. He catches it with one. One of the more highly recruited receivers in the country, and he's loved North Carolina since he was a little bitty kid. And he and Coach Galloway, again, our coaches have done an unbelievable job. See how many times you just see these over and over again. These are game changers. Start looking at Omarion Hampton. He's 6'1", 220 from Cleveland. North Carolina's Gatorade Player of the Year. Charlotte Observer's Mr. Football, two-time All-State, two-time Academic All-Conference. He's played basketball and he runs track. Will be a member of the All-American game. He is not coming in early, but he's got the big body at 220. Like we saw Javante just run over people here. A lot of similarities to Omarion when you go back and look at their high school video. He just ran through people. And it's great when you get the best people in the state to stay at home. He's got outstanding hands. Wish he was here for spring practice, but he'll be here in June. He just moves piles. Game changer in short yardage that we need. Also a game changer when you're looking at 4-minute offense at the end of the game. Malachi Hamrick, he's from Shelby. He's an early enrollee. He's 6'4", 205 pounds. He just won the state championship the other day. He's a 3-time state champion at Shelby. He's 2-time state title game most valuable player, which is very, very impressive. It's hard to play in a state championship game, much less win 3 in a row and be most valuable player in 2 of them. 2-time All-State. He set the Shelby sack record at 51.5 sacks over his career. When we were recruiting him, he never even looked at anybody else, never took any visits. He was in a hospital when he was 9 years old, and he saw some older man sitting there with a North Carolina hat, and he was staring at it. And the older man said, what are you looking at? And he said, I love North Carolina. That's my school. And the gentleman gave him his hat at 9 years old, and he still got that hat at home. So this is a Tar Heel. He grew up wanting nothing else except to come here. We're needing sacks. He'll be an early enrollee, and watch his quickness here. I mean, he is all over the field. He dominates games. He can play inside or outside backer. He has tremendous quickness and speed. He has outstanding instincts. And you can't get 51.5 sacks over your career. Here he is covering kickoffs. He's a great young guy, and like I said, he and his family, it's nothing but Carolina. Never has been. And he was very, very highly recruited. But he gets from here to there very quickly. Will Hardy's a young man from Atlanta that I didn't know about early. We didn't know early in this process how many scholarships we're going to have. because of the COVID scholarship situation, and we thought at one point we might have 4. We kept waiting on the NCAA to help us and tell us with what we had, and nobody would ever tell us. So we had to wait. And this young man committed to Virginia, and then when they had their change, we had recruited him for about 6 months. And he's a special young man. I think he's really a good player. He's a 4.5 grade point, very, very high test score. He's from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Greater Atlanta Christian, 2-time All-State. He led Georgia in interceptions as a senior with 8. He was the Region 5A Defensive Player of the Year, another team captain. He was All-State defensive back in all classifications in Georgia. He's All-State and All-Region at wide receiver. He's coached by his dad, Tim, who's from Hickory. And Tim was an All-American quarterback at Wheaton College. So, in fact, Dad and Hoots in our basketball program went to school together. So there are a lot of North Carolina ties here, and it ended up working out really, really well for us. And he is a great get in the last week here in recruiting. And you can see he's big, he's fast. He plays wide receiver, so he can catch, he can run. I think he's going to be really good. We're planning on him playing safety for us. He's 6'2". He's 190. Very, very aggressive. And so smart. A few of these guys I don't want to talk to about anything but football. They're too smart for me. But he can run. I think he's been one of the least publicized, outstanding players that we're signing. And we're so excited to get him. You get that kind of height, and you can jump. You're a coach's son. It's really, really fun to watch him. Connor Harrell, another 4.5 student. He's actually the valedictorian of his high school at Thompson High School. They're 13-1. He's an early enrollee. He's 24-1 as a starter at quarterback. He's 2-time state champion. He's the Alabama Gatorade Player of the Year as a junior. He's the member of the National Honor Society and the Mu Alpha Theta Math Honor Society. So this guy's real, real smart. He's got a brother that played at Delta State and another brother that played at UAB. So it's an athletic family. 6'1", 190. We think he's really good. We're lucky to get him. He's very accurate, and he can run. Obviously very smart. He played the last 3 games of the year with a broken thumb on his throwing hand, so he actually played with a cast on. But he can throw it on the move, and he's very, very accurate. You see here, he's so quick. And he can run. He's an early enrollee, so he'll be here in a month. I can't wait to watch him this spring. He won 2 state championships. That's pretty good as quarterback. Tayon Holloway, he's 6'1", 170 from Green Run High School at Virginia Beach. He's a very talented 2-way player. He'll play defensive back for us, but you'll see in this video he could play wide receiver. So it gives us a lot of flexibility with new roster management issues and with all the transfer portal stuff. You got to cross-train a lot of people, and you've got to evaluate better than ever before. And then at the same time, you're going to have to develop. You've got to develop players because you can't have somebody on your team that's not ready to play with all the changes and the people leaving. So 6'1", got length again, 170. He's a return guy as well. He's got tremendous speed, all-district player on both sides of the ball, district player of the year, and also all-state. His family is actually from Kinston, North Carolina. But he's fast and aggressive. He's another one. Doc Chapman didn't want to visit anybody but here. He committed to us really early. Tayon Holloway didn't want to visit anywhere but here. And you can see with the speed, either he's really, really fast or everybody chasing him slow because he's gone. He made a guy miss him quickly. And like I said, he did not visit another place. So the Malachi Hambricks and the Doc Chapmans and Tayon Holloways wanted to come here. He's really good in space. So he will be a returner for us even though he's a long corner. And corners are so important moving forward with the way this game's being played. You got to have pass rushers and you got to have corners. Again, he's tall, he can catch. Modern day, you need corners that can catch. Plays the ball well. Bryson Jennings is 6'6", 240. He's an outside linebacker from Clover High School in Richmond. He had 10 sacks this year in only 7 games. He's an all-state honoree, 2-time all-region, all-metro. He also plays basketball, and he was a regional finalist in the shot put. AB honor roll. His father, Brian, played at Virginia Tech, and he's an NFL player for the Patriots and the Chargers. Again, we're trying to get length, and we've got to get more pass rushers. You can see him at the bottom here. He's number 1. This game's about stopping the run, playing one-on-one outside, and sacking the quarterback, disrupting the quarterback. Had a different number there. Here he's number 1 again. You can see at the top, he's got really good speed for a 6'6" guy. Loves the play. Trying to get guys that can penetrate and affect the quarterback. Here you've got Justin Kanyuk. He actually came down when the NCAA allowed us to start working out players. He had a one-on-one workout with Coach Searles. He's 6'6", 315. He's at Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, Bethlehem Catholic High School, 2-time All-State, first team Eastern Pennsylvania. He's not only the team captain, but the academic player of the year. He's a member of the National Honor Society and High School Honor Roll, and he's a 2-year basketball player and 3-year baseball player. So he's a big offensive tackle, could play any of the places again, tackle or guard. At the left here, but he's athletic enough he could play any of the positions up front. Very smart. He's rated a 4.0. His coaches rave about him. Mom's actually a coach as well. He will not be here early. Okay, you've got 3 more. George Pettaway, 5'11", 190 from Suffolk. He is early enrollee, Under Armour All-American game, 3-time All-State, All-Conference, All 757. He was runner-up for the Gatorade Player of the Year. He played basketball for 2 seasons. He was All-Conference. He was an avid chess player. At the house, I saw him playing chess with Coach Bly, and it wasn't fair. Let's just put it that way. I hope Gray let him win on purpose, but it wasn't fair. He's got outstanding vision and then speed. He can cut on a dime. very powerful. He's a guy who loves to work out. Every time I've talked to him, he's either working out, going from working out, or headed to. Scored 6 touchdowns in one game against a team in the COVID spring, and then played them again after that, and he scored 6 again. He can also catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got power. He's got vision. He's got speed. It'll be fun to watch him this spring. He's a very positive young man from another good family and captain, but with all the COVID stuff and they didn't get to play as much as they wanted to, he never griped about anything. He just kept playing. Another guy that was very, very highly recruited, but he loves this place. Then you've got Zach Rice. These next 2 guys are 2 of the most highly recruited players we've ever recruited. These are 2 of the best in the country at their positions. Zach's number 9 in the country as an offensive tackle. He's 6'6", 300. He's from Lynchburg, Virginia, Liberty Christian Academy. They played for the state championship on Saturday. He's a 4-year starter. He played both ways. He also played basketball for 3 years. He's an early enrollee. He's an Under Armour All-American. He's the Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year. He posted 219 pancake blocks as a senior. That's 15.6 per game. He didn't allow a sack over the last 2 years. And he's really got a heavy focus on community service. He won the Titan Trophy, which is the area's outstanding football player who displays character and leadership. And his wonderful mom played basketball at Liberty. And he will be here as an early enrollee. He's a big, powerful guy, and he's very aggressive as a player. Loves to play football. He and Coach Searles would talk every Saturday and every Sunday about his pancakes. He took tremendous pride in how many people he knocked down, and he knocked a bunch of them down. So really looking forward to watching all these 8 young guys come in the spring, but watching Zach come and hop in our offensive line along with Travion Green. Another guy, Zach, obviously recruited by everybody in the country. And then last and sure not least is Travis Shaw. He's the number 2 defensive lineman in the country. He's 6'5", 330. He's from Grimsley High School in Greensboro. He won the state championship last year as a junior in Kenan Stadium. He's an early enrollee. He is, I think, listed the number 1 player in the state, but the number 2 nationally. He's in the Under Armour All-American game. He's all-state performer and state champion. He's also the Metro 4A Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time All-Area and All-Conference player, a member of the AB Honor Roll, team captain again. He also played basketball, and probably most uniquely about Travis is he hurt his shoulder, and he didn't get to play through the first 5-6 games of the year. And being the highly recruited player he was, he could have laid out, but he didn't. He went back and fought to help his team instead of opting out at the end, trying to help his team win another state championship. So he's a leader in the community. He's tough as nails. So these guys are going to be fun because they're leaders. They're aggressive. They're confident. And can't wait to get them in here. Jeremy, if you'll bring the... Oh, excuse me. You don't want to miss these. You can see him at the top left there. He just knocks people down. Coach Cross will be saying, "Good job, Travis." That's 6'5", 330, 340 pounds. And they played him on the edge a lot. Guys just couldn't handle him. This one's harder to see, but you can still see him coming off the corner. Got a great personality. A lot of these guys will be tremendous leaders. Here at that size, he bats the ball down on the goal line. He bats it up, intercepts it, and starts running with it. These guys just couldn't block him. Recruited again by everybody in the country. Once again, he just runs over the guys. Playing him outside, standing up. Watch his speed here, coming off the corner. We'll play him inside. That's a big man. He can really run. Okay. Got it? The other thing, we said there's 8 that are early enrollees, and I can go back over those if we need to. Also, uniquely, the NCAA has said if these guys can finish their high school in time, they can come and work out in the bowl game. Now, they have to have 5 days in shorts, so none of them will be able to come and work out in pads. But we may have a few that finish in time. They can come down. They can't get the bowl gifts. They can't go to the bowl game, but they can work out in shorts. They can be in all the meetings. They can move in their dorm. They can get their roommates. They can leave their stuff here when they come back in January, if they're January enrollees only, and get some workout time, and then we can actually help them get back home. So we feel like that we'll have 4 or 5 of those. When we know exactly who those are, Jeremy will get you those as well. But really, really excited about the class. You can see why. They're smart. They're high character. They've got tremendous families. 17 captains, 17 therefore leaders. They're aggressive. Can't wait to get them in here and take the next step. We said right now we had an okay recruiting class the first year. We had a top 12 recruiting class this year. This is going to be a top 10 recruiting class. And the better players you get, the more games you win. And to be an upper-level team like we want to get to, we've got to have the best recruits in the country. And I'm so proud of this staff that that's what they've done. They fought odds. We didn't have the year we wanted, and still we weren't sitting around last night worried about flips, worried about guys backing out on us. These are very high-character families and high-character people. And I didn't even get a call last night. I got nervous because it was too quiet, because they all actually did what they told us they were going to do. So, Mark, questions from anybody?
Thanks, Coach. We've got it lined up here so far. We will begin with Andrew Jones. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, Coach, you just kind of hit on it here a second ago. A lot of people, when they look at the program, they see the results on the field and some of the inconsistency, and they kind of weigh heavily on that. But how much does this class and the fact that these kids did stay solid with their commitments through a challenging year, what does that say about the vision of the program that you've sold and some of the evidence that they can see maybe behind the scenes about where the program is headed?
Andrew, it says everything. These young guys can see where we're headed. And I think it's such a tribute to our players on our current team. It tells you that they have convinced these young people that they love it here. It's a tremendous place to go to school, and we're about to be really good. And what we've got, and I said it in the last press conference, we're getting really good players that aren't a great team yet. And when we lost those 5 guys last year, those were superstars, and they're all playing. So we lost the core of our team other than Sam, and now we've got to rebuild that and move back up. So we went from the worst team in the league to upper level team in the league, a lot because of those 5 guys. We lose them. We're back to middle of the league. We're bringing in great players, and now we've got to go back to the upper level of the league to get where we want to go.
And staying on that, what does it say with respect to Andre Green and Zach both committing in November, so long after You guys have been in the season and had some ups and downs. What does that kind of tell you about the pitch that you guys are giving them and the fact that they see it as well?
Yeah, Andrew, we've been recruiting these young people for 2 years. So you get relationships, and recruiting is all about relationships. And you talk to them all week. I mean, you talk to them, some coaches, when you have unlimited calls, will talk to these guys every night. And you get some guys that just fall in love with the assistant coach. They obviously have to like the program from afar, the university from afar. They wouldn't come and look. Again, Andre Green, from being a little kid, he wanted to be here. I mean, this was his place, and maybe because Mom ran track over at Central, and maybe she grew up liking the place, and he's close to home. Zach Rice was Andre was a fight, but Zach Rice was a fight as well because those two guys were recruited by everybody in the country, and when you see that they chose us, that just shows you what two of the best players in the country thought about the future of this place and where we're headed. So I'm so excited that they would trust us. I'm even more excited that our players would be honest with them and they saw enough here that they wanted to come because we're competing with the best football playing universities in the country. And it was just like Andre Green. We're sitting there in his school last week, a couple of weeks ago, and his dad said we looked at just football schools and we threw them out. We looked at just academic schools, we threw them out. And we looked in the middle here, and the University of North Carolina was a great academic school that we feel like has a chance to win all the games. And I think that's what you have to do. This place is special. And what we've got to do as coaches is keep raising the level so we can win all the games, and then we're going to continue to recruit like this every year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, let's go to Dina King.
Hey, Coach, got a question about a couple guys, two big five-star elite guys in the trenches. How important was it to land Travis Shaw, who the number one player in the state? You talk about keeping guys in state and then going to Virginia and landing their number one player in the state in Zach Rice.
Yes, Dina, thank you. It's a great question, and I missed this in the opening. Zach and Travis are very good friends, and it was just a year where things happened well for us. They were playing on the same Pee Wee teams when they were 12 and 13 years old. Travis sent me a picture the other day that I'll try to get Jeremy to get to you of Zach and Travis competing as 12 and 13-year-olds. And then I think they played on some basketball teams together. So those two grew up being really good friends. Both of them have aspirations of being pro players, and they want to compete against each other in practice. So they've laughed about, man, I want to go against the best every day. And those two are two of the best that play in college football. So it really, really helped us that they had a relationship. You start looking at Travis's family. He's got, I was at the house the other day, and there's about 40 people there, 30 or 40 people. He got a tremendous family around him, and they didn't want him to go far. They want to see him play, and I think that was a key factor in this. And he's such a guy that takes pride in Greensboro, and he takes pride in Grimsley High School. It was so proud when he won the state championship in Kenan Stadium. But he's about this state, and he wants to be one of the best players to ever play here, but also play in this state. And then Zach just kind of grew with us. He fell in love with Stacy Searles. He loved the fact that the Giants offered Stacy a job last year. Stacy got some coordinator offers. You start looking at Stacy's resume with the number of NFL players he's coached. And any young lineman that comes in here, they're going to come in here thinking that they've got a chance to play in the NFL because they have an NFL-type coach. And I love the parents. I love the families. I fell in love with them as a group. They're fun. We were very, very direct and honest with all of them. And they wanted a lot like Andre Green wanted. They wanted a great academic school with a chance to win all the games. And we've got the great academic program. We're showing signs that we can win all the games. Now we've got to take the next step and start doing that.
Thank you, and congratulations on your class.
Thank you, Dana.
Greg Barnes, go ahead.
Hey, Mac. Dating back to your first stint here in Chapel Hill, you've really placed an emphasis on in-state everything, whether it be recruiting or on the field in the falls. Um, in this class, though, you signed about twice as many kids from Virginia as North Carolina. What was the key for your staff to be able to go into Virginia and sign so many of their best players?
Greg, it was an interesting year anyway with COVID, or year and a half for all of us. So there's probably some guys that all of us in college football missed this year because we didn't get to go watch them practice. We didn't get to have them in camps as easily. And the other thing is none of us knew in the spring how many scholarships we're going to have. And then the transfer portal, some people would rather take an older corner than take a high school guy, especially coaches that feel like they're in trouble and they need to win quicker. So this whole year and a half process with transfer portal and COVID kind of changed everything. So we didn't get out as much in our state. But we're fortunate that when North Carolina's been good, they've always had great players from the state of Virginia. Always. And that's an area that we know we've got to continue to recruit. There's no doubt that Jay Bateman being from Richmond helps us. Corey Holliday is from Richmond. Dwight Hoyer's from Hampton. Dre Bly's from 757. So we've got a lot of presence. I'm probably losing somebody, Jeremy, without thinking about it much. But we've got a tremendous presence in that state anyway, and it's an easy drive. Our fans have helped. It's a fun game day. So I just feel like, Greg, that's going to be our footprint. We're going to be Virginia and North Carolina. And like last year, it was nearly all North Carolina. And then you get one from South Carolina and a couple from Georgia, but that's who we are. And then this year we had to go find another linebacker, so we actually went to Chicago and went to South Carolina to find the two linebackers. But what we want to do is sign our classes from that footprint. And then we will go outside, but there's going to have to be a really good reason to go outside. It needs to be a great player, and it also needs to be a person with outstanding academics.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Ross Martin.
Next question.
Hey, Coach Brown. You've touched on this a little bit, but going in and getting Zach Rice, Travis Shaw, George Pedaway, Andre Green, some of these the high-end, top-of-your-class guys, and beating out some of the big national programs. What does that kind of say about that? And what do you think about what you did to get those guys to commit to your school over some of the, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson's?
Ross, I think it's another great question because people look at the top 10 in recruiting and they wonder why we're in there with a 6-6 team. And number one, I'm so proud of this staff. We hired a staff that really fits this area geographically. You go back and look at the guys, just about every guy on this staff has had lots of years of recruiting our footprint. And that was very, very important to do that. Then you look at, there was a change at Virginia. There was a change at Virginia Tech. There was a change at Miami. There's a change at Duke. And then you start looking at the continuity that we've had, and the high school coaches know our coaches. Coach Fedora told me one of the problems he had is he changed coaches so much that the high school coaches didn't see the same guy walk into school, and they didn't feel close to him. So we've got continuity. The guys have done a tremendous job recruiting. People don't understand. These guys, as I said earlier, have been recruited for 2 years. And that's very, very important. And you also have to be able to dream, and you have to look forward. And young people are seeing that we had a great chance to beat Pittsburgh. They won our league. That's how close we are. We had a great chance to beat NC State. And they've got a tremendous team and had a great year. So everybody can see how close we are. We got much better at the end of the year than we did as we started. So it's here. We've just got to finish.
Yeah. And do you think you fulfilled all your positional needs? And kind of, if so, along those same lines, what do you think you really needed positionally in this class that you wanted to fulfill? I know you have 3 edge rushers, 3 offensive linemen. Is there anything else that you really needed and wanted to get?
The transfer portal has changed everything, Ross, as far as roster management. When Eugene Asante, who I love, left, 2 weeks ago, now you need another linebacker. And it's at the end of the year, and it's the end of recruiting. So you have to look at the transfer portal, and you have to look at the potential of another linebacker that's out there that didn't sign today that's going to wait till February. We've got 3 defensive backs that had operations. So we get thin there. You could lose both Storm and Tony next year at corner. So you're thin there. So you constantly look at the possibility of another corner. I love the fact Will Hardy came because we're thin at young safety. And I think that really filled a need that we didn't know for sure we were going to get when we got here. You can't get enough pass rushers. You can't get enough big people. We feel good about our quarterback room moving forward. We feel like the 2 receivers that we got were really, really good, but we lost 2 receivers during the year, so do we need one more? And we'll have to look at that. And is there still one out there that didn't sign? Or again, do you be more aggressive with a transfer portal? There's 2 or 3 things that we've talked about, Ross, this week. Number 1, transfer portal changes everything. And you've got 3 or 4 different things that happen with a transfer portal. You've got some guys that are going to quit during the middle of the season. That affects your depth and roster. But also, do you look at a young guy that quits on his team at the middle of the season out there? So that's one thing you have to decide. Secondly, you've got a guy that loses his coach, whether it's a coach retiring, whether it's a coach leaving, or a coach getting fired. Then those guys are more likely, really good players are more likely to look to leave and look at other programs. So that's something you have to look at, and you've got to save some scholarships now. If you can get a great player that seasons from another team after he goes in the transfer portal, and then you may have some guys that go to the NFL. Like we'll sit here right now and we're waiting to see if Marcus McKeithen will go to the NFL and declare for the draft. We're waiting to see if Easy's going to go declare for the draft or stay. We don't know. We've got no idea as we sit here today whether we're going to have them in a month or not. And we won't know, I think the deadline's January 17th. So roster management is more difficult than ever before with trying to figure out your depth, trying to figure out who's there, who's not. You set on who you want in recruiting, and then you lose 4 guys. And then you've got to go find them somewhere else. So I challenged the staff this morning, you've got to evaluate better than ever before, because you can't make mistakes on your team and then you have some leave and you're sitting there with no depth and you're in bad trouble. And the second thing you got to do is you got to develop better. I ask our coaches, would you put any scholarship player that we have in the game right now? And if not, we're not doing our job, because you should have been developing them, even though they're maybe a third-team safety. You may have to use him because you could have somebody leave now at any time. So better evaluation, better development of players, and me doing a great job of trying to stay organized and make sure that I've always got us enough players available to play are probably more challenging now than they've ever been. Thank you, Ross.
Okay. Let's go over to C.L. Brown.
Hey, Mack, obviously you've known Dre Bly for close to 30 years now. When you first came back for this second tenure and brought him on staff, did you envision, kind of with his personality and everything, did you envision he could be this kind of recruiter that could have the kind of success he helped you guys have this year?
CL, I did, and I wasn't sure that he would be as powerful a presence as he is, but he's done it. He's been there. He's in the Hall of Fame. And he's still young enough. He goes out there and competes with them in practice. And they love him as a person, but every day he coaches, he becomes a better coach on the field. And he's just got an electric personality. Dre can talk to anybody about anything, and it's really translated into being an outstanding recruiter.
And from your experience, how I know you guys don't go into homes telling kids they can play as a freshman, but is there a certain percentage of kids in this class or any incoming class that you take in that you expect, hey, we're going to have to play, X amount?
Yes, CL, and we try not to tell them. Very seldom. We can say, here's where we see you, but you're going to have to earn your right to play. You're going to have to compete every day, and that's different in some cases in high school. And it's a little bit different. A five-star basketball player can play a lot sooner in some cases than a five-star football player because it's just different. You've got to be more physical in football in some cases than you do basketball. And so we have to be careful that when we bring a five-star in or a four-star in and they've got all this publicity, they're just not going to walk in there and play. They have to learn. And that's something that we talk to every young person about. We're working so hard right now in bowl practice. We have 14 practices. We're working really, really hard to have a spring practice with our young ones now, and that'll give us such an advantage over people who aren't coaching their team right now, because then we'll get another 15 days in the spring. So that's 29, 30 days that other people don't have that we have to get better.
All right, we'll close up today. We got one more question from Aaron Beard. Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, Mack, this is sort of unrelated to signing day as much as COVID right now. Are you guys planning on any special precautions to deal with protocols with these, the higher tests we're seeing in the pro leagues and some college basketball games getting canceled of late?
Yeah, Aaron, it's great timing for the question, because we had a long talk about it in the staff meeting today. For whatever reason, it's just all back out there and it's popped up, and we wear a mask everywhere we go, and we've been very, very careful, and knock on wood with luck, but we haven't had one guy that didn't get to play this year because of COVID. And I've told the guys, just be really, really careful. If we're not careful across our country, we get careless, get a little sloppy, because we're okay. We're not seeing as many sick people in our families and our homes, and then it bites you. So we're really challenging our guys to step up and do that. But our doctors have been good. Our protocols have been in place for now probably 2 years, I guess, Aaron. I thought we'd be through with masks by summer, and here we are. And it's funny, I go to different parts of the country in recruiting, nobody's wearing a mask. I mean, they don't seem to even know there's a virus. And then I go to other places, and you can't get out of your car without having your mask. So we're all over the place as a country, but we're being very, very careful here, and we're asking our players to do it. And the large majority of our team is vaccinated, and our staff. So we feel like that helps us and makes it safer as well.
Just to follow up, do you anticipate maybe doing any additional protocols or measures, or you're just going to kind of stick with what you've done to this point, it sounds like?
Aaron, we're going to keep doing what we're doing because it's working. And all we're doing, like in the morning, I'm going to show everybody that popped up today from a pro team, or I saw Cornell University shut down and for some reasons, and all of COVID, they cut down some of their stuff. So we put that up on the board every morning and say, guys, this is real. It's out there. This pro team has 8 that can't play. This head coach isn't going to be able to coach this weekend. So don't let up. Be really smart. Be really careful. And then we won't practice Saturday. We'll have meetings in the morning. When you're off in the afternoon or Saturday night, don't put yourself in jeopardy. Let's be really smart and be really careful.
Thank you.
And Mark, if I could say one other thing before we close it down, kind of to CL. One of the things that's happened, CL, to help our recruiting so much, I believe, is our first year you get a guy like Sam Howell, and he flips from Florida State, and he made it okay for all the other kids to come. And a Desmond Evans comes that was a really highly recruited guy. And then you get the next year you got guys like Javari Ritzie and Ra Dilworth and Keyshawn Silver. They're being recruited by everybody in the country. Diego Pounds, and I'll miss some. I don't have a list in front of me. But so all these guys start saying, hey, man, let's stay at home. Let's stay at home and win big here. And then last year you get Tony Grimes to join that. And that makes it okay for these other kids because it's cool when the best players in your state choose North Carolina. It's cool for you to say, man, I need to look at that. What's going on there? I want to go be part of this. And I really think a lot of that's what's happened to us. And then a Tony comes here and has success. Dez is having great success. And Ritzy's playing as a freshman. And Sam's been one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Then Drake May commits to Alabama and he flips and comes here. So everybody says, why is that, man? Let's go look. And I think that's probably as much to do with our recruiting right now as anything else. Now, the university stepped up. We've got brand new facilities, which we can go over next time we meet. We've got a new training room that's going to start in the spring. We're going to redo our players' lounge. We're redoing an outdoor area. That's phase 1. Phase 2, we're redoing a weight room. We're going to build an 18,000 square foot weight room. And phase 3, we're going to end up redoing our complete locker room and making it really twice as big as it is right now. So the university stepped up. Our fans and boosters have stepped up, and they've given us a lot of money to do the things we need to do, even during COVID. They see that our guys are playing hard. They see they're having fun. We're having academic success. But still, the Sam Howells, the Drake Mays, all those Tony Grimes, all those guys coming, everybody looks, and they're on Twitter all the time now. We got social media. So they're saying, man, let's go look. There must be something there. And then Sam tells them why he came. Drake tells them why they came. Our players are our best recruiters. And I will actually show them the video you just saw in the morning at our team meeting before practice and thank them for the recruiting that they did for us. Okay, Mark?
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks. You all be safe, and I'll see you in a week.